And we are live. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Again, this is the Aggressively Average Anglers podcast. It is the new year. It is 2024. So we figured, why not kick it off with a whole shebang and do the bracket series? We've been having a lot of fun with these. I feel like you guys have been having a lot of fun with the bracket series as well. And in fact, it seems the internet has been having a lot of fun with the bracket series because I don't know about you, Paul, but I've noticed quite a few brackets going down. Have you?
I put that up there this morning because I was like,
Yeah.
this is
Hmm.
the third time in the last 3 weeks that I've seen a bracket. I had
Yeah.
never seen a bracket before ever, and I was like, well, that's interesting. How about that?
I've seen this or that, good or bad, trash or pass, thumbs up, thumbs downs, whatever.
Yeah,
Brackets, I don't know. It's I don't know.
suspect. The timing
It's a
is
little
suspect.
sus, as the kids would say. So tonight we are doing another bracket. This bracket series is dedicated to kayaks. Now I get it. Not everybody's a yak fisherman, and especially when it comes to pedal kayaks, not all of us are investing into pedal kayaks. Maybe not even motor. The fun thing about this is the what if. Right? What if I were to get a kayak? What if I were to go grab a pedal kayak? And maybe it's just more about brands. Maybe you're in a paddle right now. Maybe you've got yours motorized, but your brand makes the bracket, it makes the list. Then this is your opportunity to vote. And for those who have no interest whatsoever in kayaks, guess what? It's just a lot of fun to vote on these things. So let's get the energy up in the room tonight, you guys. Let's have a blast together. And let's, probably make somebody upset on the internet because you know what? That's what the bracket series is all about. Somebody always gets upset. Somebody's always like, Shimano has no good reels. That's what I heard in the comments. And I was like,
Shimano Shatrasho. Yeah.
get out of town. All right. So as always, actually, not as always, I've been saying give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to the audio format of the podcast. We had an issue because we had transferred over. So we left Waypoint, if you guys didn't know. That was just a whole collective thing. And now we're just on our own. The audio podcast is up, though, anywhere you listen to them. And it is now fixed. So if you want to drop us a 5-star, we appreciate that. Showing support to the show, smash that like. Share this video, this live right now, because we will do a schmiveaway at the end of the episode, which would be a blast. So make sure your fishing friends get up in here and get voting. The last bracket series we had popped off. It was an absolute blast. We did fishing YouTubers, and we had some of those YouTubers in the room with us, which was so hype. So hopefully tonight we can get nearly as hype as that to kick this new year off. And as always, if you want to support the channel, you can do memberships down below. Click join or do a super chat. That's my rant. I didn't prepare a Q of the D for this
I
episode. I
did.
kind of just popped in. Oh, you did? All right, cool.
Yep.
While I was spieling, nice
Yep.
work. Let's do it.
So, picture picture this. Follow me down a mental
Picture.
pathway.
Go for it.
You're going fishing.
Uh-huh.
You
I wish.
get all your garbage together.
Uh-huh.
You drive your vehicle to where you're going to fish. You get your stuff out,
Mhm.
and as you're prepping, a person walks up to you. What
Okay.
is the one thing that they're going to say that is just going to drive you up the wall? Like, what is going to bug you and not make you happy? Because there's probably about like 6 or 7 things that happen, conversations that happen very consistently.
Yeah.
And a couple of them, I just inwardly cringe into a little
Yeah.
ball and want to drop like a pebble down the river and be
Right.
disappear forever.
Okay. So there's always like the ones about like your boat or tackle or how much stuff you're bringing, how many rods you have, blah blah blah. Like
Mhm.
I'm not even going to talk to that. The thing that probably annoys me the most, and it shouldn't, and what I typically do is I just like ignore them and just continue about what my plan
Mhm.
was in the first place is yeah, nobody's been catching anything lately. Like it's just been horrible. Fish have been shut down, and it's like if I made the time, made the trip, got my
Yeah.
stuff out, I'm about to launch, and some guys like, yeah, lake shut down, like nobody's catching anything. That is super annoying because then you hit a switch in your brain, the old radio dial flips over, and it's all of a
Mhm.
sudden like you're not going to catch anything either, or you start making excuses like, oh, the reason I didn't catch anything because the lake shut down. Like I just want to get out there and fish. So that's one thing I feel wouldn't be like my typical answer, but I want to throw something different out there. What about
This is
you?
my answer is so bad. It's so bad. I almost hesitate to say it. I
You
hate it when
should.
someone comes up and just wants to tell you like 68 fishing stories.
Oh
Like
yeah.
God, I hate it. I can't stand it because I have to like feign interest. It could honestly be the best story ever.
It could.
I'm having anxiety about going fishing and going fishing now, and so I don't want to hear about how you caught a crappie over here in 2017. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So it's interesting because like that's the anti-social ADHD behavior that we possess. At the same time, it's you want to be nice, like you want to humor to an extent individuals. Oh, there goes Paul, he died again. And I also agree, like it can be a bit annoying, a bit obnoxious when that happens, especially when it feels like a big tall tale. And you guys know the folks. You walk up to that ramp and they're like, yo, I caught a 7-pounder here like 5 minutes ago. You just missed me reeling in this 7-pounder. It was insane. And you're like, okay, dude, cool. Like so it can be annoying. I think we've all been there. Yeah. RIP, rest in Paul. Pieces, Paul. Bye. So I guess I'll be running the show today. So I guess we'll just like jump right in. I don't know what this guy keeps doing. Paul has good internet, you guys. I swear. He does calls all day long, just like I do for our regular jobs. And this guy cannot stream on here to save his life. Chaz, what is it with this guy? Like what do we do with him? I don't know. I guess we got to just get into the brackets because I don't have time for this. So let's just dive right in. Chaz is going to be, whoop, that's not the view I wanted. There we go. Chaz is going to be running the vote. So the first thing we wanted to put out there for you guys is anybody who's into the kayak scene, especially into the pedal kayaks. Obviously, today's focus is on pedal kayaks specifically. We're not doing a brand breakdown. We want to do like a model v model type breakdown. So this is when you're thinking pedal, it's like drive versus drive, or it's like the accoutrements that you can get with that kayak. So what are the features that you like? What are the kayaks? What is the kayak that you would vote for? That kind of thing. So I want you guys to look at the brackets right now. Welcome back, Paul. Thanks for joining us today. Just punch your computer off your desk. So I want you guys to look at these brackets, look at what we got listed here, and we'll go through. Paul will do his normal spiel through the divisions with you. If you feel like anything is absolutely necessary to be on the list, throw it into the chat, and we may or may not add it. And there he goes again. All right, so I don't. This is no longer aggressively average anglers. It's just angler. It's just me from now on forever until homeboy figures out his freaking internet. So let's just go through the list. You guys let me know if anything's missing. Hit me up in chat. So over in the West here, we've got the Kusa from Jackson v. the Recon from Wilderness Systems. The Recon. All right, so let me jump to this right now. John Van Dyke called out the Pescador Pilot. Yes, we put the Showdown in here in place of that for Perception. Perception has a very specific drive that we like, and we hear a lot of people like. So we wanted to include at least one of their boats in the lineup for that. The Big Fish we thought about. We couldn't get any other ones to line up really necessarily against it. So we're gonna have to come back to that. Although hang with us here because we were punching this out and I've lost Paul. So now I'm like hopeless to figure this out. The Bonafide, obviously, we made a boo-boo. We forgot to put the Bonafide on there. So I think we got to go Bonafide P127. Let's do that. And then we're going to add the Big Fish 108. And then for fair measure, we might have to add the Pescador. Yeah. We'll figure this out while I wait for Paul. Anyways, this has been fun. Thanks, Paul. I'll go to Charlie, who said he's been drooling over the Wilderness Recon for a couple of years. Yeah, we saw it in person. I honestly didn't know it existed before I went to ICAST. And when we saw it at ICAST, man, that was one of the coolest kayaks that I was really excited about to get a chance to check out. So yeah. All we got to do is we got to add a couple more layers to our bracket. The challenging part is you want to keep the bracket as even as possible. So Chaz, well, I'm going to pull Chaz in here. You want to jump on stage? No. Yes. Yeah, you do. You're on stage. Too bad, Chaz. How many we got to add to the bracket? It's you and me now. Paul's out. I fired him. It's probably restarting his computer entirely.
So we already covered why we don't have the Pescador Pilot. The Bonafide.
Yeah, but we can make room for it if we got to add all these other ones. So
we have the
no big.
Bonafide to add.
Yeah, so we got the Bonafide P127. Let's add the. Where's my Feel Free? I had Feel Free on here.
Which one was it? Oh, there's Paul.
We can get the. Yeah, you can bounce. Thanks, bud.
Maybe not, because it's just a white screen.
Oh, cool. All right. So yeah, let's hammer them out. So let's do the. We got the Slayer on here. I mean, we got to go Slayer, Max. Like we got to do all of them. That's a lot. We're definitely not doing all of those. The Dorado from Feel Free and the Feel Free Lure 11.5 I saw in here. We're not going to be able to add all of them. I don't know. Paul, are you frozen?
No.
Okay, you're back. So we had a couple holes in here from the Bonafide P127, for example, was one of them.
Yeah, I had Bonafide on here, and then I had to change everything. So good call.
Fun times. So if we add any, how many more brackets do we need to add to make it even? That's the question.
None. We just delete one of the ones that's on there. So delete the Pro Angler, one of those, or delete the Outback.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Let's
I don't think that's that hard. Just do a buy-in between the Pro Angler and then the 180 and the 360, and then delete one of them. I don't think it's a big deal.
All right. Well, let's get the Bonafide P127 in there at least. Let's do that.
What else did we miss?
I mean, there was the Feel Free Lure 11.5 Dorado. I mean, it's too many. It's too many.
If I add 3, then I have to find another 8.
Exactly. That's the challenge.
Work.
So we need 40
We're good.
total.
We're good.
We have the ones that we have. Let's just go over what we got.
Yeah, it's got to be divisible by 4 at the worst.
You can't knock Hobie off the list. We have our feelings as well, but you can't just take them out. That's not happening. Also, I think Notabob said this. Nope. Feather said this. Yes. The Titan X. There is no other kayak. Everybody knows that. Notabot. I don't agree with this. I don't think so. I think we'll find out. We'll see. It's not
how is
just
that
it's the most expensive.
What? No.
Anyways. All right, well, let's get into voting. Let's just start this thing off. I'm sick of your technical difficulties. Where are we starting at? Let's go to the West, the Kusa versus the Recon.
Yeah.
You want to run through them?
Well, I have to pull it up, and it's taking 400 years, and I cannot read that little baby screen. So
cool. I can read them off if you want me to just call them out.
Hang on.
We're getting there, you guys.
This is like of things that will make me unreasonably upset. One thing that makes me unreasonably upset was when something just doesn't work the way it's supposed to for no visible reason. I'll get way too enraged. I feel like
there's something going on with your computer.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. It's obviously it's something, but today is no different than any other day. And
it's every time we stream, this is what happens.
It's like dog shit. So, anyways,
all right.
We're gonna start off with the Kusa FD, and versus that's by Jackson, and Jackson has 2 kayaks on here because I do think they're both popular enough and they have their own following. So, versus the Wilderness Recon, which a lot of people it's probably new for a lot of people, but it was a sweet boat that we saw at ICAST, and I really think it deserves to be on the list.
Fair enough. So we voting there first?
Yep. Kusa FD from Jackson versus Recon from Wilderness Systems.
Let's do it. I'm assuming it's on a slight delay in where it's kicking off here. Is it up, Chaz? There we go. Oh my gosh, man. Technology is just really our friend today. So voting is finally live. Let's get this thing going. So we got the Kusa FD versus Recon from Wilderness Systems. And the Recon's taking a quick lead with 22 votes. So let's make sure everybody's getting their votes in here. That's what makes these bracket series the most fun. So just keep popping them in there. Hopefully by the end of the night, we can get a couple of votes in with, or a couple of our, battles here going down with about 100 votes. That would be ideal. So what do we know about the Kusa versus the Recon? We got a chance to check out the Recon at ICAST this year, and it wasn't brand new. They've made some tweaks to it. Wilderness System has a telescopic drive now, which is interesting. I'm not sure if I love it or hate it, but it's like this drive will lift up, so you can actually like retract it all the way up into the hull vertically, so that you can obviously go over like obstacles, or if you want to paddle, or if you want to just beach yourself, things like that. I think it's interesting. I don't know how well it works like on the fly, or if I beat the tar out of it, but it intrigued me. I'll say that. And then we got the Kusa, which I think is just like a good all around yak. Jackson makes, that's pretty much like the name of the game with Jackson, I feel, is they seem to make like decent all around yaks. Not everybody loves their pedal drives though.
No, and at the time because Jackson was really like the first company to like massively do like expensive fishing kayaks, like the newest style with like a lot of like, they came out with like the square front hatch, they come out with like the way that it attaches, they come out with like some really customizable rear end setups, just totally different than a lot of kayaks that were out there at the time. That's kind of, and then they had the loud colors, like that's kind of what put them on the map. And this kayak is still that. I feel like this kayak hasn't changed much. Like it is that kayak. So the Kusa FD 2023, this is the newest one. $3,500, $3,600, a little bit over.
It ain't free.
No, it's not free. That's kind of on the expensive side. Now it is a 12.7, so 12.7 inches, 35 inches wide, which is like, I'd say like medium, not super wide, but medium width for like a big 12-foot kayak. Capacity 450 pounds, so good, but not like at the very highest end. But good. It weighs 109 on its own with the seat. It's 115 with the seat, and the drive is 130 pounds.
Ooh, so that's on the heavier end.
That is heavy.
For
pedals.
That's heavy.
That's probably at least 20 pounds heavier than like the average.
That's Hobie heavy.
Now the seat is like nice, but I don't think it's that much different than like it's I'd say extreme. It's almost the same as what's in the Old Towns right now.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it has flush mounted rear rod holders in the back included. It's got a nice set of gear tracks in the back. They did a really nice job with it, and it's totally open. There's one bar, a gear track bar, but it is really open. It's set up to mount wheels. It's set up to do. It's got like the power pole thing in the back. The rudder is dinky. It has always made me feel it's like dinky, and it has some padding, but it's like not in all the good places. It has a cool hatch access for front, middle, and rear. And I do like how they have like some of the gear tracks in the front. I always really like that. I appreciate those quite a bit for electronics. Yeah. So I think like there's a lot to like about this boat, but I do think it's a little overpriced for what you get. The Recon 12.2, so a little shorter. Boat weight is 115. So they're probably within, once you get everything in there, probably within 15 to 20 pounds of each other. But this is lighter for sure. Max capacity 450. The width on the Recon is 38, which I think is a nice wide stand-up boat.
It's like Old Town width.
That's a good. You're gonna get a pretty solid. That'll be nice. And the deck height is 15 inches. It has a more of like a standard bicycle type pedal drive, almost the exact same seat. I think the rear is not quite as nice because it doesn't have like all the mounting locations, and it's got a little less. It does have some nice stuff molded in though, which is really cool, and it's got a huge front hatch. So 2,800 versus 3,600.
Yeah, and I think that chat fully agrees with what we're talking about. The Recon is stomping the Kusa. So 45 votes in. I think we pull that one because it's 78% to 22%. Recon moved on. So let's go to the next one. Now we got the Makana from Vibe, which is one. And again, like we're going with some of the most popular from these brands. I get that there are other models, and if your model's not on here, I'm sorry. But we got the Makana from Vibe, and then we got the Moken from Feel Free, which are two really popular kayaks. So let's dive into this. Vibe, I know a lot of people really love Vibe kayaks. One thing that's really interesting to me from Vibe is that you can get a prop or a fin drive. So most of them, they seem to like come with the fin drive and you can just replace it with a prop drive, which is an interesting feature to have. Not to mention they've got a ton of different kayaks and they seem to be fairly affordable. The Makana is no different. So if we're looking at the Makana, it's $1,500, $1,549, and that's pretty much anywhere that you can find this thing. Sometimes you can find it on sale. So I mean, it comes in some basic colors. It's got a lot of just like good basic features. So you got tracks already like recessed in there. Recon is $700 off right now too. Dang, good call out, Mason. The Recon, that's one of the kayaks I saw at ICAST. I was like, I want this. Like, I would want that kayak. I would be in that kayak. It's really cool. Again, I don't know about the little telescopic retracting drive. I would have to test it out. But yeah, so the Vibes, they come with a lot of good basic features. You don't get like your front hatch. The Vibe has like just that little kind of bungee mesh over
kind
the
of
front.
a big miss for me, actually.
I don't like not having the hatch. There's a lot of different kayaks out there that don't have the hatch. They do the just kind of mesh. And is that, I mean, would you say that's like an ocean kayak kind of deal? It's something I see on a lot of ocean kayaks. They do the tie down, you do the dry bag. It's meant to like slide a dry bag of like gear and clothes underneath it.
It's just to keep it cheap, man.
It also obviously does
probably
that.
Right here saves you like $150, $200.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, just looking over this, like a lot of good basic features, like a decent hat. I mean, the open hull in the back is probably not very large at all. So you're putting a smaller crate in there, but you got tracks all over, bungee, tie downs, all sorts of different stuff like that. Just, you know, good all around basic features. It gets you to $1,500 for a pedal kayak. So there's got to be like a plus for that, I would say, for sure. Then we look at the Feel Free Moken. So the Feel Free has been, how do you feel about Feel Free? That's what I want to know. Feel Free has been one of those like fringe brands to me that I'm like, these are fine. A lot of people like them. I think they're okay. I've never just had a strong desire to get into a Feel Free kayak. And maybe I'm a crazy person. They've done a lot of innovative things, namely like their seats.
For the price, I'm like always kind of astonished to like see what's in there. Like every time I'm like, oh dang, like how did they get all of this for $800? Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm all you know what the thing with the problem with it is, we're gonna spend. I don't want to spend too long on each one of these because they're all, but there's just really not a place for like a cheap off the line kayak, like a pedal kayak. Like people just feel like they're fronting. I still think like if you objectively looked at every single option, I think a lot of people would look at this and be like, wait, I can get a pedal kayak with all the same options for $1,000 less in every instance. That's no one cares, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah. No, I that being said, I think that the Moken is pretty solid looking kayak. They use a lot of the molded in handles. They do have that rear wheel, the keel, which is interesting. It's itty bitty, tiny whiny. Like, I don't know how well it's doing on rough terrain, but it's a kind of cool feature. Just, dragging it short distances, maybe on a paved boat ramp. That would be nice. Yeah. Seats look comfortable. I've sat in one in a shop. I've never actually gotten a chance to get out on the water on one though.
Yeah.
But I mean, they seem decent.
Like it's an okay setup. I don't love the front hatch. It's kind of like my least favorite. It's not a huge deal. Got some gear tracks. If this thing is like even just good and has moderate durability, it is $1,300 for a 12.5-foot pedal kayak.
That's insane.
The Makana 10-foot with the fins is $1,600.
And the thing about the fins, so the vote's close right now. The thing about fins, I'll just say in general, because there's quite a few like fin kayaks on here. You guys know our feelings about our Hobie kayaks. That being said, they definitely have the fin kayak drives dialed. And I've heard, some pros, some cons, but more cons than pros about these other fin drives that are not Hobie drives. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if other people are just having a tough time dialing them in. They seem to be hit and miss. Namely, like the Pelican Catch, I think, was one of them. We had talked to a few shop owners. They kept having these things come back. Like the drive was just failing nonstop. Now, I know my 360 drive failed. I'm not going to be over here promoting the 360 drive in like 5 minutes when we get to that. I feel bad about that too. But yeah, I don't know about these non-Hobie drives. That's just something to be said for the name that Hobie made in the industry with their drives. So I don't know. It's interesting, but let's pull this one because I think we're at 57-43, but we got 45 votes in here. So we'll go ahead and kill it. The Feel Free Moken moves on.
Good.
Doing stuff and things. All right. So where's my Titan X guy who always comments that Titan X is the only pedal kayak that is worth getting? I hope you're here. You better vote for this damn kayak. Here we go. So we're to the interesting little bracket because you got two, you could say very different kayaks. They're still
The
all
opposite.
they're the opposite. They're in the pedal domain though. So we got the Lono Arrow from Boat. That is an inflatable pedal drive kayak with an interesting pedal drive. We'll talk about in a second. And then the Titan X from Native. So obviously Native Titan X dropped at ICAST this year. Now it's 2024. Last year, it's obviously a really cool boat. You can deck the absolute ever-loving shoot out of it. You can put anything on that. There's all sorts of stuff. When we saw the model they had on the floor at ICAST had power poles, a motor, two motors. They had a bow mount and a stern mount. So they had all sorts of stuff on this thing. You can deck that bad boy out. So that, from that standpoint, really cool. It kind of looks, it's similar to like the Pro Angler hull is the way I look at it. It's sort of that pontoon hull. They had the rod holders at the front. They had all sorts of different stuff, but it's just really well thought out. So it's pretty killer. It's not free. It's over $3,000, but it's a really cool boat all around. And then you look at the Lono Arrow, which has different really cool features, namely that you can stuff it into a duffel bag and roll that sucker onto an airplane if you want to. So that's pretty neat. A little bit lighter, inflatable. You go, I don't know about inflatables. They've come a long way. You can put all sorts of accessories on them. They're really durable. I got a chance to be in one at ICAST this year for the first time on the pond, so that was cool. Very stable, very comfortable seats. Boat knows what they're doing with inflatables, so it does get some pluses
fast.
there.
Yeah, it has a mount in the rear for like additions. It's got a spot for their custom cooler to like keep all your crap. It has a separated like cover for the rear as well, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
So these are the exact opposite. To be honest, I really can't see a Lono Arrow ever being in a situation that's gonna beat like a Titan X.
I don't think so. I don't think the Lono Arrow would have done very well against many of these other ones. There's probably a few it like stood a chance against if you're looking around. I think it's a cool kayak. It's not the type of kayak that I want. It's not one that I'm gravitating towards.
I don't need it to fit in a backpack. I think that's cool.
Well, that's the thing.
And neat, but I don't need that feature. And then it takes away like 7,000 other features.
If you do need that feature, it's the perfect kayak. So,
well, I mean, like if you're a big river person, like you'd be shocked at how beneficial like having that would be for the river. A 12-foot inflatable kayak that you could just take the drive out of. That's the ultimate river vessel.
Well, like a common reason for this though too is if you live in an apartment. If you live in a very small space and you don't have a storage area, like you can deflate your kayak. So it just sits in the corner of your room. I've known quite a few people that bring full-size kayaks into their apartment, and it's like really weird. I also knew a lot of mountain bikers who would have like 4 or 5 of their mountain bikes just up in their apartment. So there's just not a lot of room. So if you're a space saver, it could be the one for you. But I think chat has decided, and I'm not surprised, it's the Titan X by a long shot, 93 to 7%.
I'm surprised it got 7.
You know what? The boat had somebody showed it some love. There you go. I love it. All right. So let's go to the next two. So we got Perception on this list. Obviously, other people called out like the Pilot, for example. Perception makes a nice drive. They have a nice pedal drive. It is a brand that a lot of people like. It's a boat line a lot of people like. The Showdown is just the newer one, so we wanted to call that one out. So I like, if we're looking at the Showdown, it has a lot of really cool features that I think we can get into. And then we got obviously the Sportsman pedal from Old Town. It's going to be tough to top that. This includes like any Sportsman you want to think about. I don't care if you think about the 10, the 12, 13, doesn't matter. Like all generally the same in concept, right? So let's look at that. Basically Old Town drive versus the Perception drive and the features that you're going to get with both of those. So, Paul, thoughts? I don't know if you've like seen the Showdown up close.
No,
And
I'm actually.
I
I've
know
got
I
like.
haven't.
I've never seen. Honestly, we don't see. I never see Perceptions, and the Pescador.
Mhm.
People always hammer us for not like getting it or using it. Like I've never seen one in real life.
Yeah.
Like where I wouldn't know where to go buy one. Like I don't know a shop that anyways. No. Couple things when I'm looking at this seat looks like it doesn't weigh anything and it doesn't look very comfortable. It
It
could
does
be
not look
because
very
like I've
comfortable.
seen, the Hobie seat's very comfortable and it kind of looks like maybe it's similar. There's no way this can be, I don't know. It seems like it wouldn't be that comfortable. Now it looks light. You'll get some air on the butt crack, which looks really good, but other
It's
than that, I'm not sure
breathable.
about that. I don't understand the front hatch because it's got a hard hatch, but then there's bungee under it. What is that?
It comes off. So it's a removable front
It's like
hatch.
a pod.
And I think it's a soft shell as well, as far as what I can see, but it doesn't matter. Like it comes off. So yeah, it's a pod. And then you can use that space that could be open,
I suppose,
or you just take it with you or whatever. If you want to leave your tackle in it and you leave your kayak outside, you can take it with you. I mean, that's
the rear
kind of neat.
hatch. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the rear hatch looks really small and inefficient.
Yeah,
I like the molded in. It looks like there's like some rod butt holders, maybe.
Yeah, on the sides of the seats. That's really nice.
Look like it, but what does it do? That's just where the butt of it goes.
Am I gonna have like 12 rods in my boat?
That's why I'm like, what do we?
There's 6 per side.
What do you?
That's insane.
Like, what are you doing with that thing?
I don't know. It's pretty hefty.
You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. What I do know about Perception is that they've got a pretty smooth drive set up. Now, somebody called out there was like a pin issue they were dealing with at some point in time. So no, I don't know if they've fixed it at all. So I have no idea. But overall, I think just Perception shows up for having a nice drive. Now,
I think
Sportsman series, I think we've talked about a lot. Other people have talked about a lot. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it right now.
Almost 3,000, so 2,900 for that for the Showdown 11.5.
Yeah, that's a no-go for me.
Well, you compare that to the Sportsman. So the Sportsman is I'm looking at the 12-footer.
Right.
It's a 500-pound weight capacity, assembled boat weight, so that's like all the stuff. 116 pounds. That's very, very light. I mean, relatively to a lot of other boats. Console and the seat are 20 to almost 30 pounds. So I mean, standard specs. I think it's got one of the more comfortable seats in the game. It's my opinion. It's not the best. I think the Vantage seat is better, but with Hobie is better. But this is really, really nice and really comfortable. It's also got a monster rear hatch. It's about as big as you can get away with. The pedal drive, I think, is probably the best. It's probably the most well-renowned pedal drive right now. It floats. It's got its own little console built in to feel like drop keys and wallet and stuff in there. And it is really fast. I've used it quite a few, like for hours and hours, and it's freaking fast. Front hatch is like one of those pod ones too. I don't like it. I don't like the round opening. I want the biggest opening possible, and I want a bin. Like that's what I want. So I get why they have this. I don't love it. It's out, and it's probably one of the most stable kayaks out there. I think it's like 38 inches wide. These I think are just like super steady. It's not as good as the Hobie. The Hobie is 360 is the best, the Pro Angler, as far as stability, and maybe the Slayer. That's probably one of the widest boats out there too. But those two are like those two are like top tier stability. This is like a hair below that, but it's still really good. I don't know. And then the crazy thing is like the price. Like I'm looking at what am I looking at? I'm looking at
the 10 is
2,800 for the 12. So
compared to the Showdown though, you're at 2249 versus you got to look at the 10.5, right? So it's the Showdown's 11.5, the Old Town 10.5, right? The Sportsman. You look at the two of those, the difference in price is less than $200, right?
Oh wait, yeah, the MSRP on the 11.5 is 2,300.
Yeah,
I was looking at Canadian. Yep.
Yeah, you were looking at Canadian. So at 2249 though versus the Sportsman 10, it's not really a tough decision for me. Like I'd be going Sportsman all day over this the Showdown. And that being said, I think it looks neat. I'd love to see how those features actually work. I'd love to get in one of these things.
We hear
I gotta
good
find one.
stuff. Yeah, we hear good stuff about Perception. Like people seem really happy with it, and
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
I
you
think
don't
they
know till
should
you're in
be,
it.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, all right, let's pull that vote. It's another absolute slaughter. 95% goes to Sportsman. Showdown, you out of here. Moving on. So let's go to the East. Now we're back to Jackson. Jackson tops out this division again with the NAR, right? And all I know about the NAR is the fact that I've seen Alex Rudd fish out of it, and that I know it exists. It seems decent, lots of features. We'll get to that in a second. And that is going up against the PK12 Angler from Brooklyn. So, and Brooklyn Kayaks is another one where I know Jackson. Like, I don't know Brooklyn very well as a brand. So I'm already like, it's fringe to me in that sense. It makes it harder for me to make that decision.
Mhm.
And I'm sure it has a lot of decent features that we can get into. So let's take a look at these two.
When I see, we've had people call up Brooklyn before, and I kind of thought they would have more because of how many times I've had people like say, "You're not talking about Brooklyn. Talk about Brooklyn."
Talk about
But
Brooklyn. Yeah, we
I
hear it all
kind
the
of
time.
like. I think this is a value, and I'll say why in a second. But I do not think that like they have a broad selection of fishing kayaks. I think this is it. And what I see is a very basic, like no frill type of design with the hull
Mhm.
shape and the way it's like laid out. Um,
Yeah.
there's nothing to add. You have flush mounted rod holders, so you're probably just gonna have to live on those. And it's got I don't everything else is super basic. Now it's
Mhm.
$1,300, so
It's very
it's really
affordable.
inexpensive, and it
Yeah.
looks like it's got a pretty decent seat. I think the seat has potential as like a something to build around for $1,300. I
Yeah.
have no faith in that weird looking pedal drive. I'm sure it's probably fine, but I don't know.
I do. I'm seeing one right now on Brooklyn's website that has a trolling motor already installed
There you go.
into the drive slot for also $1,200. So, like,
Yeah,
in my eyes, I think Brooklyn is in the economy
but
option.
like
Like, it's
they
a
did a nice job with it. Yeah,
very affordable kayak that will work. So, I mean, if you're looking to just save money, you just want to get in a kayak, like maybe that's the option. Now, I haven't used one, so I can't speak to it in terms of being a value.
not
Like,
staking my life
I haven't
over it,
used it.
but
Oh, absolutely not. So the NAR, on the other hand, is interesting because there's people who have gripes about it. Does Rudd still have his?
no, I don't think so.
So it's $3,500. Rudd went to this over the Hobie because the Hobie, he was having hip issues with the Hobie.
Which is
Now,
fair.
Rock had just mentioned in chat here that Gramps had tried it too. He hated it. Rudd's obviously out of it now. So it's like there, $3,500 this thing is on Eco Fishing Shop. That is
I
a
got a
base
4,200 off their website.
base price 4,200, but you can get it on sale if you get the Spider-Man edition, that big old red and blue
Color is
one.
disgusting. I
It's
never.
horrible. I think did we talk about it with the Kusa? Like
You
their
know, it's
rudder,
you know, it's
is
yeah, that I don't have a lot. It looks like such an afterthought.
you have to upgrade that rudder. So that's something you would go to like a company like Boondocks or something and get that rudder replaced, but you already spent $4,200 maybe. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
it's got
know.
a guard on it, which is nice. I like the front and rear hatch access. I always do on these boats.
Yeah.
And there's a nice, generous. It's open. It's kind of nice.
It's a
It's
very wide open cockpit. It reminds me
30.
a lot of the Pro Angler. So, you and I
Yeah,
have been
yeah.
in, from going from Pro Angler to other
Thin,
kayaks, you
style.
feel like you're in a tiny little box. So, yeah, with this, you have all that space on the side there. It looks deep in the hull. So, I mean, those are nice things to have, but
Yeah,
there's seems to be a lot
but
of
this
issues
weighs
for,
almost 14 feet, which is massive.
yeah, it's
13
the
feet
same as
and
our boats.
9 inches. That's a huge boat.
Yeah.
The width is 37. Capacity is only 425, but the weight is 140 almost. It's 138 pounds. 145 with the seat, and it's 158 with everything.
Yeah.
That's I don't know, man,
It's a Hobie, but like
but
not.
not.
That's the
So I don't.
problem.
I look.
Yeah.
I think this is probably a good. I think I've heard that the later gens of this
Yeah.
one like fix some of the issues. Let's assume that's the case. 4,200 is an overprice for me for what you get.
Yeah, it's
I think it does
Yep,
have
yep,
rod
yep.
holders though.
It's
That's
got 6, just like
it really does.
the
That's
Pro
pretty
Angler
cool.
14.
And the right way to do it. I like the gear
Mhm.
track that goes all the way around. That's pretty
Yep.
tight. I'll give them that. The
There's definitely
layout's not
some
bad.
cool things on it for sure. The colors are meh, the rudder is meh, and apparently there was
Oh,
issues with the drive. So we'll
it's
have to
funny.
see.
When you see the Spider-Man, it seems so jarring and awful. And then you
Yeah,
go to pick on, you're like, well, I'll switch the color and I'll be happy looking at one of these other
the
colors. I'm
rest
like,
are
these all look disgusting. They all look like different. Did my 2-year-old puke or did my 8-year-old puke? Like
no,
which color?
they're
This
all
is not
piles
good.
of this is melted ice cream. So
This is
that's the
gross.
Spider-Man pop. And then there's a
I
Sonic the Hedgehog pop, which is the blue one. And then
but
there's a Ninja
muted.
Turtle.
Like God, it's the
And
weird
there's
that blue and white one is the weirdest combination of like
did you see the Kusa X? The Kusa X comes in Bumblebee.
I don't know if
So
I
it
want to
has
see that.
black, yellow, and white. Like Jackson is out of their dang minds, you guys, when it comes to colors. Like it's
I
so
don't know. Well,
absurd.
right now the NAR's taking it 66 to 34, 50 votes
That's a
in.
dub. Pull it.
I say we pull it.
All
Sorry to
right.
make you
So
guys go through all that.
NAR moves on. Brooklyn out. Although we'll have to find a way to test a Brooklyn kayaks. Because enough people talk about it. Like, is it?
Yeah.
It's $1,200, so it's on the end of like the most affordable. We'll call it to be nice. The most affordable pedal kayak. It's in that category. Maybe top 5 most affordable pedal kayaks. We got to see if it's actually worth that somehow. So I'd love to find that out at some point in time. All right. So next up, we got another native entry, the Slayer. Slayer Max, throw them all in. I don't care, whatever you want to talk about. But the Slayer, which is it's a massive kayak. It's a kayak that does all sorts of stuff, has a million different accessories you can add to it, up against the New Canoe Frontier. Now, you might be looking at New Canoe kayaks and you go, hang on a second, they don't have a place to put in a pedal drive. That's
so
because
funny you should ask.
they use this crazy thing called their pivot drive, which has pedals in front of you so you can pedal your kayak, and then just these rods that go to the back of the boat to control the paddle, right? So it's like, if you if you want something interesting, I mean, it works. I know there's people that like these things. It's one of those things I look at. I'm like, this crazy contraption looks like it was designed by Leonardo da Vinci and it came out like hundreds of years ago.
Oh,
Does it not look like the first guy that showed a paddle wheel? He's like, yo, no, this is gonna
we could do it this way. I'm a genius.
like,
Well,
no, we're not putting a hole in the middle of our kayak. What are you crazy? We're gonna put it behind us. So it's a pretty insane drive. If you guys haven't had it, haven't looked at it before, look up the pivot drive. It's nuts. So you get a prop off the back. So it's like it's a self-powered motor, essentially, right? Instead of getting a motor drive, you're pedaling, it's just behind you. It's odd to say the least. And it looks like you can steer it as well. I'm not 1,000% familiar with it. It's $1,300, the pivot drive itself. So
that's
you're getting
that's
up
what I was
there.
getting. And then I looked at the Frontier 12, which I think compares to the Slayer as best you
Right.
can. That's 1,700.
So you're at the 3K mark already.
Yeah. But you have like the most bastardized version of a pedal drive.
In good conscience be
I
like,
can't either.
that's awesome.
I really can't. I get it, and I'm glad they did it the way they did it. They didn't have that's cool. I appreciate that. Nah, I mean compared to the Slayer, which has like a pretty refined,
Well, it's the
drive.
native bona fide drive. So
Yeah.
for anybody out there who's like, why is the P127 not on here? Native and bona fide, they use the same drive, right? So let's just look at it that way. Like, this is the native drive. It is one of the most refined pedal drives out there. A lot of people love it. It's we've had this in hand up close and personal. We've been in the bona fides. It's a heavy freaking duty pedal drive. Thing is built like a brick shit house, and it seems like it will hold up to a whole lot of stuff and a whole lot of beating, which is awesome. So if we're looking at the Slayer lineup, there's a whole bunch of them. This is like that square back boat, right?
You could put a motor on the back of it.
Absolutely. This thing is built to rig. That's the thing you got to look at. Like, the natives have it nailed. The Titan X, the Slayers, They're built to rig out, to put whatever the heck you want, anything you can dream of, you can pop on these things. They have some of the most heavy duty handles because it's actually just a rail on the back.
That's what it is.
They do have the same freaking
Little-
rudder. I don't like that little underneath rudder. I don't know what it
I've
is
heard a
about
lot of
that.
people say you got there's somebody makes an aftermarket and you got to do it.
100%. You got to get that. A lot of people said that about the Old Town, to be fair, as well. We got to call that out as well.
Yeah, because those
like
bend. I think they're maybe too soft.
if you get in current, like that Old Town rudder can just get pushed around like a
Yeah.
schoolyard kid getting bullied. So you got to get your rudder replaced on a lot of these. Unfortunately, that's just the case. But yeah, just like the base features on a lot of these natives, down to like the rudder control. I think that was a heavier duty. I think it's like an aluminum rudder control. Do you remember
Screwed
seeing
in
that?
on a plate too. It's a separate unit. Yeah.
It's heavy freaking duty. The rudder sucks, but like the
But it
control
doesn't,
of the rudder
no,
is
but it
great.
doesn't come with like the rod. This one doesn't have the rod holders, right? It has a nicer front
Right.
hatch. I don't like
Mhm.
all like the little rubber grippies. Those are eventually just going to shred on you. Like that's the one thing I've never liked about the way they did the handles.
Or they're gonna rotate.
Yeah, that's just I don't really like it. I also
Nah, same.
that drive is meh for me. It's like good, it's
Yeah.
fine, but like I don't love it.
Here's
I
the
don't
thing I
love
like
it. I
about
don't approach it being like this is the best.
well, I didn't say that. I said it's really refined. Here's the thing I like about
It is, yeah.
pedal drives like that versus, I mean, you could say the 180 has more modifications you can make to it or more simplicity and part replacement, but it's a complex drive. But with pedal drives like this, like there's just, it's so easy to get those
Crank.
parts and replace it. Yeah, it's a bike setup. So
No, I don't.
yeah,
I can't disagree with that.
I do
And
appreciate
mean,
that.
Yeah, but like this, it has that plate cover, that plastic POS that you kind of put on top. Like, there's just
Yeah.
some things I've never liked about this version
Oh,
of the Native.
yes, the drive
The
cover
drive
is
cover, it's like
my
a paper
least
plate.
favorite thing.
It's the worst. So, and like,
Mhm.
but like, it is a great boat. So, a fully rigged, it's only 125 pounds. You would think this
Yep.
thing would be a monster. That's like 40 pounds lighter than the NAR. Or
It
30
is
pounds lighter than the
surprising.
NAR. That's yeah, it should be
Yep.
500-pound weight capacity, right? So it's just a wide boat. They made the most, I think, out of the space that you get with this one,
Yep.
which I think is really nice. 12.6, 34-inch width, so it's not as wide as you would think,
Yep.
but extremely sturdy. So this is basically the younger brother of the Titan X, and a little lighter, little just a few differences, but this is the Titan X Lite.
Yeah, and at 3K?
Yeah,
The
pretty much.
12.5?
Yep.
I mean, I'm grabbing that over that pivot drive any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
And the argument for the Frontier is that you don't have to have the drive in there. It's still a very paddleable boat.
Yep.
It's very open. It's inexpensive, $1,700 if you don't get the pedal drive, right?
Yep.
$3,000 if you do. But you could just take it on and off. You just unscrew it, pull it off, and then you have a boat you can put a motor on. You have a boat with that 360 swivel seat. Like, it can be a duck hunting boat. It can be, whatever you
Sure.
need it to be. So if someone wants to customize something or put a different kind of motor on, like, that might be the route. But I agree. Just standard fishing kayak terms, I think the Slayer takes it all day.
What's the weight capacity on a Slayer?
500.
500.
At 30.
That's not too bad.
At 34 inches wide or 36 inches wide. That's really good. I think that they're 500 is the top. I don't think anyone else claims over 500.
600 would be the Hobie. 550, 600. It's 600.
550, I thought is what it was. It's like, but no one claims over that. Like, it's
no, 100%.
Yeah, so I think
500 is top. If you see 450,
right up there at the top.
Yeah, 400, 450 is like the standard that you'll see. So when you see 450, you're like, oh, okay, all right, I can bring an extra tackle box or two. Maybe put a motor on this bad boy.
Maybe eat over Thanksgiving. I don't know.
Exactly.
All
right.
The
So
Slayer's got it with 62 votes. All right, 79%.
Slayer takes it. We'll pull that one. So Native Slayer moves on. Again, that's Slayer Max, Slayer Propel, whatever. All of those. All right. So moving on to the next one, we got the Impulse from Hoodoo versus the Outback from Hobie. So it's interesting. The Hoodoo, this is not a like same price bracket thing at all. So the Hoodoo, we're looking at the 120. It does come with a fin drive. It's got decent features. It looks like a decent hull.
It kind of looks like a Hobie. It's like if you took a Hobie and a Crescent and put them together, that's what you'd end up with. It has some Hobie. It has the same drop-in bin. It has almost the same Mirage drive as the Mirage. It has the same type of front hatch. It's just soft instead of, like it's not as like sturdy. Same concept as the Hobie. Same stern as the Hobie too. Like where your storage would go, it's the same. It's very similar. It has some more molded in features. It's obviously less expensive. It's got a very open cockpit, and it's $1,700. Like the seat is not as good.
Yeah.
The seat is a step down from a lot of other seats, and that's one of the things I think that really hurts it.
It looks like it's on rails too, kind of like I think your Old Town is. Well, it's not rails that it is; it's the pins. But yeah, it looks like you can slide that seat fore and aft, which is kind of neat. To me, I'm looking at this thing, $1,699. It looks pretty solid. The issue I'm always going to have is with that fin drive. Is the fin drive any good? Does it hold up? I've heard too many horror stories about a lot of these fin drives out there, so have to see it. Gotta get a chance to like get in one of these things, really test it out, see what that's like. So yeah, interesting. Going over to the Hobie Outback, which is currently winning the polls right now. So we're at 38 votes. Get your votes in, people. Let's go. We got 100 people in here watching. Click that vote button. If you're on Facebook, you got to vote on YouTube, just so you guys know. But the Outback is taking it right now, 63%.
Outback is 3,700. This is like the skinnier, faster, lighter, cooler version of the Pro Angler. It has some of the really good features though. It has the kick-up fins. They're only 180, but it has kick-up fins, which that's like if your pedals, if it hits something in the water, it's just gonna like kind of break away softly and bend over, and then all you have to do is pedal real fast again, and they lock back into place. That was huge. It really opens up a lot of areas for you without having to worry about ruining your drive, which is pretty dope. So as I mentioned, it has the 180 drive. This is basically it has the Vantage seat, not the new one, but the old one. It's a really nice seat though, like really nice. It's a little bit skinnier in the rear, so you don't have as much space, but it's really long. It's got the awesome Hobie handles in the reel. It's got the in the back. It's got the rod holders, and it's got some really cool like storage pouches and like places for you to put accessories are really neat. So for me, if you can get that much of a Hobie without having to worry about the 360 drive for 30, less than 4,000, I mean, that's an ocean faring vessel if you need it to be.
It is. It's still way expensive. So $36.99, man, it's up there for sure. Yeah. Definitely take the 180 drive over the 360 drive any day of the week for sure. Also call out this. Mike LaPala said the Unlimited is a 650 weight capacity, and I think I remember that now. That's one of the yaks that we had out there. So that takes the cake. That might be the highest there is. That's insane. So yeah, Outback, it's solid. Tons and tons and tons of features. Again, we go back to the Hoodoo. Here's the thing about some of these other fin drives too, is I don't think that they have 180. Like you don't. Not only it's not a prop. Prop has the benefit of instant reverse, right? So prop drives, it's like riding a bike. You can just backpedal, which is nice. The 180 drive, the big pain in the butt, you can go reverse, but you have to pull a strap to flip the fins so that you can back up. I don't know.
It says propel yourself forward effortlessly.
Exactly.
It never says anything about going backwards. Wow.
I don't think you can go backwards. I think you're on rudder control.
This can't win. This can't win.
Well, it can win on affordability, but I think we've talked about a few other ones. I don't know if
that's a value.
We talked about a few. Well, that's what I said. Affordability and value are two different things. It's the value is that crossroad between what you spend and what you get, right? Mm-hmm. We've said that before. We'll say it again 1,000 times for the people in the back. So for $1,700, like, do you get that much of value? We discussed, we think we like the hull, like everything looks good there. We don't know about the seat. And we don't know about the drives. But now that I know that the drives don't just reverse, I don't know. I'm on rudder control. If you guys have ever been just stuck on rudder control with the inability to instant reverse, it sucks.
But just
that's like what my broken Hobie does.
One Outback, you could have two of these.
That's the thing to consider, right? Like, but does the affordability is
Not
it
for
worth
me.
it? Do you get enough for that?
Especially knowing that this Hobie is so good.
Yeah.
No, I would take my one Hobie for sure.
All right, fair enough. So the Outback right now, we're at 57 votes in. We're going to pull this one. 65% Outback takes it. So Hobie moves on. Hobie gets to carry one thing through. So let's go.
They'll get two. They'll get two.
We'll see. The 360, man.
Oh yeah,
Could
maybe
it dog them enough?
No, you're right. Okay.
All right, so last bracket, the P127. We put it in here. We listened to the people. So bona fide P127 up against the Pro Angler, the 180 and the 360. They get stuck together. So 360, the redheaded stepchild, as it were, gets stuck to the 180. Although I don't know if you guys heard, they came out with an XR drive. It's not
Who cares?
backwards. It's not backwards compatible. So if you bought a 360, you screwed. Unless you buy one now, I guess the XR is like updated. So anyways, we got the Pro Angler versus the P127. So you guys know the Pro Angler. We fished out of them for years. We've got the 360. Personally, I want to go back to a 180 all day. Like I've looked at tons and tons of other kayaks. I might end up selling the 360. I'm going to go 180, a reliable drive. You can get kick up fins on the 180 now. And then I'll just have like my favorite hull ever, and it'll do all the things I want, and I'll probably end up putting a motor on it. The P127 from Bonafide is going to come at obviously a much better price point for most people. The Pro Angler now is what, $46.99 last time. It goes up and down this freaking price. So if we look at the Hobie
right now,
Pro,
it's at like 5,900 from Hobie's website.
That's a 360. Yeah, so 4,800 for the 180 drive. We're looking at the 14-foot model, and then almost $6K for the 360. It was not that when we bought it, you guys, but okay. So I'm sure Chad is going to slaughter the Pro Angler, but you guys got to look at the positives as well. Like if you go 180, it has arguably the best hull in the game. Like it cannot be argued that is the most stable, high weight capacity, and feature filled. That's value. Like that thing is crazy. The drive on the 360 is trash. I'm very pissed at it.
Well, when it works, it's really, really good, but it just doesn't work a lot.
Enough. It's like it doesn't work enough of the time. The 180 though, like when I had my PA 180, I never worried about the drive. Not once ever. It wasn't until I got the 360 and all of a sudden I was like, oh, the drive can break. Now we got problems. But I always have loved the hull. So man, chat is I told you I didn't think it was going to make it another round here. The Hobie is not going to make it.
Good.
So P127 though, like I will say, Bonafide, if they nail anything, it's their marketing and their like built-in features, right? Like if you look at a Bonafide kayak, first of all, you can pick it out of a lineup anytime you see one.
Oh yeah, design-wise, they're
sleek. They're sexy. They got a ton of features. They're awesome.
Front hatch is great.
It's got the native / Bonafide drive. So it's the same drive we've been talking about on the other natives. And again, we don't own one. We've been able to use a P127 once. And I think the one we used was busted because our drive sucked personally.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Something was wrong. I'm going to chalk it up to...
It wasn't like so bad, but like it's a brand new kayak. I don't know.
I'm going to chalk it up to damaged goods.
Yeah.
It must have been something was wrong with that one. So I'm not even going to pull that into the conversation. But overall, the hull, like fairly stable. It's nowhere near
as stable. It's all pretty solid.
Yeah. Like it's
there's some things I don't like about it. I don't like some of the layouts. I don't like the drive as much, and I don't like the that little cover on the drive, but it's very fast. It's not as stable as Old Town. It's like a significant drop in stability from a Hobie. And then I also don't love, like, there's not a lot of, I don't feel like I have a lot of room in between my legs. Like I want that to feel spacious. New Canoe, spacious. Old Town, very spacious. The natives, they're huge. And they feel big when you're in them. This feels small to me. Like I feel cramped in this boat, even though it's pretty big.
Fair enough. So Hobie takes an L and we move on. Whoever said most expensive is going to win, get out of town. Pro Angler's out of the bid. So Pro Angler coming in at 5,900 was too much for chat. We're moving on. That is
fair enough.
I'm with you guys. Like when that went up by $1,000, I was lost. I was like, what? It's insane. And it's up there with like the Old Town e-pedal now. And I know a lot of people are absolutely out, no go on that one at
It should
freaking
be.
K. All right. So moving on, P127. Let's go. Next round.
So next round we've got the we're going back to the west. So we'll do the Wilderness Systems Recon
Now we're
versus
gonna
the
get
Feel
closer. There we
Free
go.
Moken.
All right.
So go ahead.
Okay. So this is gonna be an interesting one, I think. So Feel Free. I know a lot of people like love them, hate them, whatever. We talked about some of their features. They definitely have some unique features. What?
$800.
That's the difference between the two?
No, the price of that is $800.
Oh, the Moken? You're looking at the
Yeah.
pedal one?
Yeah.
The pedal
was I looking at the
Moken.
paddle?
Yeah, you were looking at there's a paddle one.
Yeah.
Paddle and pedal. So looking at.
But
yeah.
how much is the Moken?
I didn't have it pulled up. I'll pull it up again. I've been bouncing between all these kayaks here.
Yep.
It's too many prices in my brain. Yeah. So I mean, like the paddle version, super cheap. 1,400 is on Eco Fishing Shop. The 12.5 pedal version, Feel Free Moken. So again, decent all around kayak, decent pedal drive. It's a prop drive. You're not going to be super pissed.
It's average in every way.
The Recon is just too like enticing. It's just too
pretty
enticing.
well refined. $2,800, so it's not free. A lot of new features that look, updated, modern. I like the rear hatch is really nice with those like stand areas and guards, and got some molded in side plate stuff. It is going to feel cramped, which is kind of like that has become like a big. That's what I'm going to miss the most about the Hobie. Actually, and what I've missed the most is just that really
or giving up
feeling.
space. You're giving up real estate when you go down from that. Yeah,
or
100%.
stability. So yeah, it's gonna feel a little cramped. Huge front hatch. I think it's got all the stuff you want. 2,800 is a little steep because I think about the Slayer and some of those other kayaks.
You can get this one on sale since it's been around for a couple of years. So I'm looking at Eco Fishing Shop right now. You guys, you can get it for 2,100.
Okay, that's a huge difference. I'm just looking at their site. They have it at 2,800. Right?
Yeah, that's MSRP. But like some of these, you'll see MSRPs. They will never go on sale. This is not that. So I think Wilderness Systems, sometimes you can get some good deals on them, for example. But yeah, so versus the Feel Free though, I'm looking at the two of these kayaks and I'm going, what do I want to fish out of? I absolutely want to fish out of a Recon. I do not really want to fish out of a Moken. It's just that's my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter. It's your vote that matters. So make sure you guys are actually voting on these things.
I feel like we're 50 votes in, and Recon is doubling up on the Moken.
Oh, okay. So let's pull that one. The Recon takes it 67% to 33%. Yeah, I'm with you guys 100%. That's how I feel. Also, that was 100%, Paul. You've not been commenting on that. The votes 67-33. We did it.
66-33 is not
what that changed. It was 67.
Scoreboard, bro. Scoreboard. Okay,
it was 67-33.
I'm sure it was, Jeff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No. All right. So next up, we've got the Native Titan X. This is what I wanted to see. The Native Titan X versus the Sportsman, the Old Town Sportsman PPL.
How is this going to go?
This is tough, man. No, I don't. No one can win here. We're all
losers
for asking
in the end.
Question.
Man, it really what you got to ask yourself is like, do I want just a really nice base model that I don't really plan on adding 3 motors, 2 power poles, and a whole bunch of other stuff to? Or do I want to deck this sucker out? Because I mean, we talked about it. The Native platform is meant to be decked out. The Sportsman can be. It's just easier to do it on a Titan.
Here's the thing about the Titan and pretty much every other kayak. Whenever Old Town comes up, so Old Town to me is like very refined.
Yep.
Best warranty
out of the box.
It's amazing out of the box. So is the Titan in a lot of ways, but the Titan, the 12.5 is $3,600, and the Sportsman PDL is $2,800.
Yep,
that's a big difference. That's a sonar,
same size boat, right? Yeah. And you're getting, I mean, essentially the same like base as well. Like there's just again more upwards flexibility with the Titan X. That can't be argued. Like it is built to be built. That's what it
It's
is.
a great boat, man. So, and
Yeah.
they both are, but I'm just making the point that they have a lot of things.
It's the
They
big
have a lot
rig.
of things. I think what it comes down to is what are you doing next, and what do you want your boat to feel like? Because I'd be willing to
Yeah.
say the Titan might be more stable than the Old Town. I'd give you that. I don't know if it'll be as fast. I don't think it can be. Um, it could be. I don't know. But I think the Old
Not
Town would probably beat it
out.
in a foot race.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the seat's probably better, but the Titan has like the cooler back end, battery mount, battery box, which we loved.
Yeah.
And it's just a monster. So, and you got the big cockpit too. So I don't, but at 2,800,
Yeah.
3,700. Yeah.
It's I don't
What would you
know.
vote? I think we got enough of the votes, and there's 54. I haven't looked at the results yet, but what would you vote?
So, oh man, it's really tough. I know the kind of boat that I like want to build, so I feel
You could say
like
Titan.
no,
Second, I heard more.
I could say whatever I want.
I'm
I
doing
know
it. Mom, let
just
me
get out of
vote.
my life. No, so like I love both of these, and it's not a knock to Old Town, but I would probably go Titan X.
Yeah.
But it looks like I am wrong to chat.
Well,
It's pretty close
I
ish.
think it's really close. I think I honestly it's a coin toss for me. And
Yeah,
the only reason I say that is the price. Like I like the 12.5,
yeah,
but like I know I would pick the 10. I pick the 10 because I
yeah.
know that
You would
that
keep
10
going back
can
to your
do
10.
I could take it to the river. It doesn't weigh nearly as much. It still has all
Yeah,
the features, but none of the bulk. And I could do whatever I need to, but it just doesn't have the bulk. But on a different day, I might wake up on a Saturday and be like, yeah, shoot, man,
really like
3,800
that Titan.
bucks. Like I kind of think that maybe I'll put a motor on that thing. I'll just take it
Yeah,
on to St. Clair. So I don't think there's a wrong answer. This one's really tough. No one won. We all are worse off.
yeah, but not Old Town because they made it to the next round. So let's move on to the other side. So we're going east. We got the good old Jackson Nar that everybody loved that begrudgingly won the last match versus the native Slayer. So different native, same drive, just kind of a different build out versus the Titan X. So the Slayer, again, going for the big rig versus do we go for the big rig that nobody likes? I'm just kidding. So we got the
Wow.
Jackson Nar versus the Slayer. I mean, it was pretty like it was a begrudging vote the last round. You could tell.
Yeah, but it won by nothing. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's a no-brainer this round. It's the Slayer.
well, and
Like
it's
there's
crazy because this is a 14-foot boat. Like it's longer. But
yeah.
it's nuts. Here's the thing. This is what this will. I mean, the Slayer is 3,000. The Nar
Mhm.
is 4,200. What are we talking about here?
What are we talking about
What are we?
here?
Who are we
What are we
talking to?
doing? What is going
You're
on
out of your
here?
mind. I mean,
The
you're out of your mind.
Nar
There's
is
no
that
way.
much more?
Yeah, and
Dang.
I actually think it weighs more.
I think it does too.
I think it does. Hold on, I need the stats here. They're
Maybe
hard to.
is it just
Hang
like
on.
an indestructible, unsinkable hull?
Fitted hull weight,
Mm-hmm.
fully rigged weight. Sorry, 125. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Nar is 140,
140.
158. That's the thing about the Nar. Any Jackson boat. I was like, dude, what?
They're
Why does this weigh so
so
damn much?
because they're overbuilt as
Are
heck
they though? I don't. They're just. I
in the
think they're
wrong
under
way. Well, the hull
designed.
is.
I think they're under designed, dude.
Is the whole too much plastic up in there? Like what's
I don't
going
know.
on? What are we doing? I'm not making that choice
That's what I don't. I can't
ever.
see. I just can't see it, man.
And I have to choose the most obnoxious
You know
colors
what's
in
crazy too?
history.
So the Nar has a weight capacity of 425, which is not
The
bad.
NAR has a weight capacity. So what's the usable weight then? It's like 250, 200?
No, what do you mean?
Well, there's the weight capacity is 425, but then you start including like the weight of the drive loaded down with all the equipment. Then you put
Yeah,
yourself in it. So like,
yeah.
what can you actually add to that boat?
I mean, 425 is like middle of the pack.
No,
So
that's like
it's
that's
low.
low.
So the
That's
capacity on the native, the Slayer,
yeah,
500.
500.
Yeah,
Gosh
and
dang,
and
fully rigged 125.
yeah, I don't know. Now the Slayer is 3 inches slimmer than the Jackson, which is kind of hard
Yeah,
to get your mind wrapped around.
yeah, 34 versus The Jackson's 37, you're saying? That's a weird
Yeah.
beam width.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
For me, if I had to vote, I'd say Slayer.
it's
I
Slayer.
can't do that. Yeah, and it's 92%
Pull it.
in favor. I think we're done here.
All right. Buffy the Vampire Slayer moves on. Jackson Nar is out of town. We're moving on. Now we got the Hobie Outback versus the P127.
We're worse off for answering asking this question. This is a hard one. For me, it seems hard.
I think it's not gonna be hard for chat. They are on
Is it
the
gonna be the
Hobie hate train.
Yeah. I find the Outback to be the most enticing kayak next to the 180.
Yeah. I think if we were talking best used kayaks you could get right now, like the Hobie 180 drives in Papaya for $2,000 are the most enticing pedal kayaks.
I think so.
Period. Get out of town if you're thinking otherwise. But only used and very old Papayas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Outback, like, what are we talking about? Like, if we're looking purely at price, sure, like the Bonafide wins. It's still over 3K.
That's
the
my
P127. Like, how are we picking? Chad is all over this right now. Chad is disagreeing with us super hard for some reason, but I'm not picking the Bonafide P127 over the Outback.
That's
for
what I'm saying.
$400, $500, $400. What's the difference?
At MSRP at 3,700.
Yeah.
I
get that it's a Bonafide, but like it's not.
See, I would say the other way. Like, no, I'm getting the Hobie. Like this thing, they're built right. I mean, from the hull standpoint,
it's 3K.
like
It's 3K. So 3K versus what did we say? 36.99. 38. 36.99. 38.
Hold on.
MSRP is 36.99. So $700. $700. You're gonna pick.
I know.
You're already spending 3K. This is one of those things where it's like buy once, cry once. There's no way. There's no. Well, I'm just saying, if you're already spending 3K, this is what I want you to consider.
I get it.
If you're looking at it, if anybody's looking at P127, consider this. You're spending 3K on that. The Outback is a far superior boat.
I think so.
Period. The end. It is. It just is. Like, I get that it's more expensive, so we're just purely arguing price. You win because it's $700 more.
I see why someone would like the P127 and not like the Hobie.
There's no way.
I know. I can see it. I like the Hobie. I'm very familiar with it. But I could see why someone would want, $700 is that's not nothing. That's a pretty big difference. So
it's not nothing, but it's
20% difference in price.
Hey, you're at 3K already, man.
Yeah.
Just
well, the
more season.
We're at 48. We're at 48 votes.
Yeah.
This is
I hear you, Chet. I'll step down.
Advances.
I'll step down. I don't understand how it advanced, but I'll step down. All right. So that brings us to our final four, right? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. We did it. So the Recon, not surprised, made it. Sportsman, also not surprised, made it. The Slayer is here. And then the P127 from Bonafide. So we got our final four. Now we got to do our like final four rounds here, and we'll get to our championship round, followed by the Toilet Bowl, because don't worry, they'll all be awarded a place 1 through 4. So let's do this. So starting out, we got the Recon from Wilderness Systems versus a Sportsman pedal, and I don't think the Recon stands a chance anymore.
There's no way.
Like, again, the price point.
They're both.
We talked about, you can get it on sale for $2,100, but its base price is the same as the Sportsman 120. So how could the Sportsman lose this one? There's no way.
I don't know. Anything's possible.
The higher value is the
Sportsman. Be counted. If I were voting and my opinion mattered, it would definitely the Sportsman has to be. That's got to be.
What?
Wait, what is this question?
I'm trying to read this comment. I don't know what that means.
Or what kayak fishing videos guy use?
I don't know what that means, Cooler Lid. You're gonna have to repeat your comment.
Hit me again. Try again.
Try refresh your page.
Daniel said he missed voting for the Titan X. You'll get to vote for the cousin, the close nephew, pretty soon here with the native Slayer.
It wasn't again. Daniel. It wasn't close enough. Daniel, are you the one that was saying the Titan X is the only boat and we're dumb for not getting it? That's what I'm curious about. There was one person in the comments.
How funny it'd be if that's how he came in. Hey, dang it. What
I
the
missed
hell,
my boat.
guys?
You had
Recount.
one job.
Recount.
One job.
Recount. Oh my God. The hanging Chad himself.
That's awesome. Oh man, the Sportsman is dominating the Recon right now. I'm not surprised at all. Again, the Recon I think is like a great looking platform at the same price as the Sportsman, though. There's just no way I would go any other route.
Justify it. I just can't do it.
Nope. Not a
All
chance.
right.
All right.
Next
pull
up,
it.
this one's tough. So it's going to
Here
be
we
the
go.
Native Slayer against the Bonafide P127. This one is a little closer to me than even the Outback, and I think the Outback is close. I think this one might be closer.
Maybe.
It's not to
know.
me. It's not to me. But
these are the same price, right? These are the same price.
3,000. I think the Slayer was
The Slayer's
3,200.
The Slayer is less expensive, you guys.
Oh no, I was thinking about the
Oh well, the 10 is less expensive. Well, where's the freaking 12? Oh my gosh, 3K. So the 12 versus 12. So the P127 versus the Slayer Propel Max 12.5. These are the same exact price.
I know
one is more deck outable. One is less deck
the P1.
outable.
No, I mean you can do a lot with that P127.
It's not close. It's not even close.
It's
the
close.
platform.
There's
not really.
In your opinion.
No.
I would like to know
which looking at the boat.
I want to know which one's faster.
I mean, I bet the P127 is faster. I don't think that's in question. I just look at what can I do with the boat. Now, no doubt, again, Bonafide has a solid base platform, and they also have that like rear mount thing that you can do.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
You can do some cool stuff with that. You don't need it with the Slayer. So that's the challenge.
The Slayer is pretty dope design.
It's already set to go.
I like it.
It's already got a ton of accessories that you can add to it very easily.
You have to get wheels on this one, no?
And the Native has the better wheels.
That's what I was getting at. They have their own brand of.
These are the same parent company. I should also point out these guys are both the same company. These are brothers fighting now.
They're stomping on their own dicks. But I think the.
What? Anyways, but I think at the same price point, to me, it's no question. It's the Slayer all day. And you slap those Native wheels on there, you're going to be a super happy person.
Pull it. We're at 48 votes. We're done here.
Slayer crushed it, 65% to 35% P127. Which like the P127, we got to give credit where credit's due. Dominated the Hobie region, like just took Hobie off the map. So single-handedly for doing that, good job, P127. You'll be in the toilet bowl. We'll see you soon.
Right, here we go.
Okay, the championship round is here, you guys. So we're gonna have some fun with this. We'll probably roll out with a little slow rolling thunder just for funsies, and we'll probably do a schmiv away for a sticker of your choice from the shop that I'll ship out to you guys. So we'll do that as well. Now, let's get into it. Championship round. Sportsman Pedal. The Old Town Sportsman versus the Native Slayer. And I don't think this one's going to be as difficult as the normal championship round is either.
Really?
No.
I think this is going to be super tight.
I don't well, we'll see what chat thinks.
I think this is close. I think this is very close.
I'm calling it a 40-60 split. That's my bet. Yep.
No.
And I think it goes to Old Town.
No, you do not. No, okay. I'll take the other side of that money.
I think it's just again on price point now.
It is
Old Town's cheaper.
I know, which is cheaper, nuts.
Better warranty, better base setup,
better pizza, better money, better
ingredients. It just, dude, it does. It's got everything is better at the base price, and it comes in cheaper than the Slayer. Like, how do you? Pause.
How do you?
How do you choose that?
What do you?
And I just said like Slayer no brainer over Bonafide, and now I'm at Old Town no brainer over Slayer, right? Like I get it, but
but like they do have a great warranty, very refined, great motor. at a price that's just insane. I think the
Yeah.
Slayer though really has a lot to offer, and I
It has
think
a ton to
I
offer.
saw someone roll up in each one, I don't know which one I would pick. It probably depend on the day.
Listen, I don't mean to make you mad, but right now it's 60-40 split to Old Town.
Crazy. 52 votes. I mean, that's it. Oh my
I
God.
mean,
Pull it
I'm
so
not.
Jeff can take this one. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I did a thing. I got my way.
I got it my way.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yes, you did.
59-40 because it goes from what? Now I'm
I
Paul.
told you Google
They
takes
take
a
one.
percent. The Google takes a percent even of this.
It's a Google tax.
even in my votes.
Gosh
Why
dang
would
it,
you do
YouTube!
that?
You can't take my votes. All right, so the championship has been decided. We have our winner, the Sportsman Pedal Series. So Old Town just packing the value, and I mean, again, we talk about value. It's where price meets the road. It's where what you pay and what you get meet each other. And I think Old Town definitely stands up to that test. We got the 106, so we'll be putting the 106 to the test in the water this year, and maybe we'll pick up on another one. I don't know. Like we'll figure some things out. We'll play around with waters there. Slayer, thanks for coming out. Second place, still like a pretty solid all around kayak. So let's do our toilet bowl roundup, and then maybe we'll draw a Schmiv away winner. What do you say about that?
I like
So,
it.
toilet bowl, we got the Recon versus the P127. This is what I would think would be close because I think that
No.
these two platforms come in at the same price, again, base price, MSRP, but you can get the Recon for cheaper. They're both sexy. Like they're both very good looking platforms.
I don't think this is close.
That's because Bonafide has the market cornered. Even though Wilderness, I mean, it's Wilderness Systems, man. Like been around for so long. I think if Bonafide pulls this out, it's a marketing thing.
You mean native?
What? Bonafide. It's
Oh,
the Bonafide
Okay.
127 versus the Recon
Yeah,
Wilderness.
okay, I was thinking the Slayer. Okay,
No.
now I see what you're
Slayer's
saying.
second place, dude.
I think this, the Recon is a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
It is, and I
And
don't
it's like
think this,
as
I
good
was
a
thinking
setup.
versus the Slayer. I'm like, nah, there's no way. But now I'm like, okay, if I could
P127
really,
versus a Recon.
if I could save $1,000 and then have $1,000 for something
I'm going
else,
Recon.
I might do that. It
Wilderness
looks pretty nice too.
Wilderness Systems
This is
has
tighter
been
than I
around
thought it
so
should be.
long. Well, yeah,
Canadian company though. I mean,
how much can you trust them?
I'm
I
joking.
don't know.
Obviously, I hope you guys know I'm joking.
Well, they've been around for so long. They're asset marketing, man. Like they just are.
Yeah.
They're not good at it. Like I don't know what it is, but I never see any Wilderness System stuff. Do you guys? Bonafide all day, twice a day. Like I see Bonafide everywhere. There are so many Bonafide pro staffers. It's absurd. It's like their own little country.
They don't matter. Pro staff doesn't matter. No one. We don't need them.
Okay. Well, I see a lot of Bonafide kayaks because of pro stuff.
I know, but it's so true though. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's kayaking, especially when you see someone fishing out of a kayak like in 10 videos, like that's the one. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah.
I think they matter a lot. I was being super sarcastic, but geez.
I feel like Bonafide wins on a market.
Oh, it's not even close. I don't even does Wilderness Systems market?
No, I don't think they do.
We tried to help them. I tried to email this guy like 5 times.
You guys,
nice Canadian gentleman, couldn't. He ain't gonna answer me.
Listen, they are the company that doesn't believe in pro staff. That's for sure. They don't care.
Yeah.
You guys want a kayak? Too friggin' bad. Try again next year, losers.
You wish in one hand and crap in the other. See which one fills up first.
So P127 is going to take the dub on this. I'm not surprised. Again, purely from a marketing standpoint, I don't think it's a better boat, and I would love to put them head to head.
Yeah, I would too.
Love to. If I could find, and again, this is the other thing, right? Can I find a place that sells Wilderness Systems that I can go test one out? No, I can't because nobody friggin' has them. So if somebody would have them, I'd love to get them. And Wilderness is also one of those brands that's constantly commented on. If we talk about kayaks, if we compare any brands, the number one comment is always, where's your Wilderness Systems? And I'm like, where's your Wilderness Systems? Because I don't see them anywhere, dude. So I don't know. I know they're reliable. Amazon has them. Ned Rig Nerd, I'm not.
Canada has them.
Canada has them. They're in. They left them in Canada. We just got to go up north, bro.
Fair enough.
I'm not ordering a kayak on Amazon.
Well, you don't have to.
It's not happening.
Drive
All
up to
right.
Canada.
What? To what? I'll go to. All right. So Maine's got one. I'll just borrow. Maine, can I borrow your kayak? That's all I'm at. I don't ask for
I don't
much.
know.
Just
Do you have extra glue?
ship it to my house with some glue as well. All right. We're done with this. Let's pull that one. So 55 votes in. P127 takes the toilet bowl dub for third place. And then we go with the Recon from Wilderness Systems in fourth place. You know what? You guys turned out for this one. I was pretty stoked about this. I was nervous to do a kayak bracket just because I know not everybody is like a kayak angler on here. We have like a pretty split margin, I feel, with our audience. But we appreciate you guys for doing that. We'll keep bouncing back and forth. It won't be kayaks only, but there will be more brackets in the future because we started a thing, I think. I'm gonna claim it. I'm planting the flag. We started this.
One of our first episodes from the BurlyFishing podcast was a
video
bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
We did this
OG.
years ago. That was like one of our first episodes that popped off. Was the bracket. Sunscreen versus hat, baby.
Sunscreen versus hat is coming up soon. All right, you guys, thank you so much for this. This was a lot of fun. Let's do a schmiveaway, Chaz, if you want to cue it up. It's going to be hashtag OT, Old Town, hashtag OT, baby.
I think there was Old Town before, too. I think this is the second time it's been the hashtag.
Way to go, Old Town. Good job. Did we do we did a brand bracket with Old Town? Did we?
No, I just think that we were talking about the old towns on an episode, and we had been talking about them. Like, we'll just make it Old Town.
Correct. All right. So if you guys are unfamiliar with how giveaways work on this platform, you got to type in hashtag OT. I don't think it matters if it's uppercase or lowercase, but it's uppercase as far as Chaz wrote it. So hashtag capital O, capital T. And you got to do that in YouTube chat. So if you're over on Facebook, just pop over YouTube for a quick second. If you want to try and win the schmiveaway, we're going to give away a decal. It's an actual decal, not a sticker. So they are weatherproof and you can pop it onto your kayak, your truck, your vehicle, or whatever you want to. We have 3 choices in the shop right now. You can see them below if you want to see the visual. Ned Rig Nerds, flip around and find out. Probably our most popular design. And then we do have an aggressively average angler sticker. So if you want to just tell the world that you're like kind of okay at fishing, highly recommend that sticker as well. All right. I know it appears vertical in the shop. It's not my fault. That's Printify's fault. I can't rotate the design. It's dumb. But it is just a banner design. So you can put that one up there. So while we're rolling that, Paul, I feel like you're typing something. Are you typing
stuff? I've got some things happening over here. So I got some overrated, underrated for us.
Okay, let's do it.
Overrated, underrated. Board games.
Oh, the most overrated of all time is Monopoly, is it not?
Well, just I'm saying in general, our board games in general.
Oh, in general, I thought we were gonna call some out. Okay, so overrated, underrated. I'd say overrated. I think there's a lot more fun things you can do with a family than kicking out like a big box with all these parts and like fake paper money and a million cards that you lose, and then you read instructions for 48 minutes and then you get mad at each other.
Is a drag.
It's absolutely drag.
That's
worst.
Not a good one. Yeah, that's like if you wanted to estrange yourself from a family, maybe you would play Monopoly.
Like, we're settle some family
ex-mother-in-law. Let's play Monopoly.
Oh my god, that's look. I see a lot of underrateds in here. I hear you guys. Personally, I'd rather play cards. Personally, that's the thing. Talk
cards, like cards for sure. And then I feel like what's underrated is board games, like Trouble and Sorry. Underrated, very, very underrated.
I will fight everybody that plays Trouble or Sorry.
What Scrabble I think is very underrated.
Scrabble can be fun. Do we count that? Is that count as a board game?
Is that a board game?
I'd rather play
dominoes.
Dominoes.
That seems like maybe a board game.
Chicken foot.
Dominoes.
Cards, chicken foot. Those would be my go-tos. I just
it's
more. I don't know. Is it more relaxed? To me, it's more relaxed. It depends
on who you're. Yeah, it depends who you're playing with.
Some people really, the people that get really into it, I just don't even want to play. Like at that point, I'm just like,
I know.
I feel like you're expert mode, I'm easy mode, and I'm like, let me just see myself out of here.
With euchre, I struggle with that because when people are not good, well, if you're just passable, I'm okay. if you're very good, we're gonna get along very well. If you're really bad, that's okay too. But if you're bad and you think you're good, mm-mm,
Mm.
that's the only place where I'll be like, I can't play with you.
Yep.
You are I can't handle you. You're not good, and you think you're good. That's not good.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
All right, so I'm going overrated on that. I see a lot of chat. They're big fans of the board games, and again, to each their own. It's just my opinion, comma man. That's it. So yeah, I think there's other stuff I'd rather be doing though.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Scented candles. Overrated or underrated?
Overrated. Stop beating my face with your scents when I walk into your house. Oh my god, I'm so sick of scented candles. I walk into my own house. My wife loves scented
Stumble
candles.
across.
Dude,
Fuck.
I walk into my own house. My wife loves scented candles, and I love my wife. So I obviously do nothing about this. But I am so
Which is not good.
I am so sick of my nostrils being accosted by just the most ridiculous scents. Ugh. And then they want to go. She wants to go into the freaking Bath Body Works or whatever, like the candle store.
Oh.
I don't go in. Like it's too smelly. It's too smelly.
But what about when you what about when you torch some fish or you like rip a big fart? Don't you want to be able to light a candle?
No.
Oh.
Embrace it.
Okay. I wouldn't know anything about that. All right, next one. Overrated or underrated? Magic shows.
Wait. All right. Define magic show. Are we talking Las Vegas Strip? Or are we talking high school, like
No.
middle school
somewhere in between
performance?
Okay. You're eating at a nice Italian restaurant with a very old-timey owner. There might be a magician.
Overrated. Oh, terrible. Get me out of here. That's as bad as like just amateur stand-up. Like I cannot. Do you guys get the cringe like just vibe in your soul, and you feel for the person, and you're just like, this is gonna go so poorly.
Not gonna be good.
I can't be here. I can't be here for it. All right, overrated as heck. Magic is the worst. It's just my opinion. Sorry for magic lovers out there.
Oh my god.
My bad. I hope there's no magicians in our audience.
How are we not voting on this? All right. Road
Chaz, let's get a vote going in chat. Overrated, underrated magicians. Period. All of them. I need to know where chat is. Whew. Man. Wow, cooler lid. That's a hot take. Something pervy about magicians. A hot take stays up. All right. It's just something pervy about those magicians. Oh man. Every time, like, how often on shows you love or movies you've seen, or you like, are magicians?
It's the clown.
Magicians are the butt of the joke, man. It's sorry again to any magicians out there. Like,
you're getting wrecked in the comments.
You're getting wrecked in here. Wow.
Oh my god,
they got to be a comedian at the very least. And in which case, I would say, how much comedian and how much magician are you? Like,
yeah.
No way. Chat says overrated. Thank you, chat. They get it.
All right. Good next one is road trips.
Road trips. Yeah. I love a road trip. I would go on more road trips if I could, if I had the time. I'm gonna say underrated.
I also tend to agree with underrated. I'm okay in the car. Like, we've been in the car for 10 hours plus a couple
multiple times, like 4 or 5 times.
We made it every time. We found a musical genre to dabble into on multiple occasions. Like, we were fine. Never listened to a single podcast.
Nope. We don't do that. Like, we surf. We find some of the most. Remember that song?
Nooks and crannies, baby.
We get into the nooks and crannies of music. Like, it just gets a bit absurd. We found some like odd stuff last time we were going down to Alabama. It was a
One of
blast.
my favorites on the way back was the what we found, the fan fiction Super Mario Brothers song.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my god, I brought that up to my brother, and he was like, "Why does this slap so hard?" And I
It
was like,
was so bonkers.
It's an absolute banger." But yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you gotta get to the crevices. I also, and you know what, I love eating like randomly, like in like some random
Yes.
place. Like it's kind of cool. I like that
Zaxby's.
part of it. Yeah, eating $46 worth of chicken in about 8 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Less than. It's
Yeah.
about plowing calories and listening to crazy music. Like
Oh,
it's
no.
a love road
I think
trips.
so. All right. So next up would be those like candy machines that have like bubble gum in them, or like Skittles, or
Overrated. All
overrated.
worthless.
You don't love putting a
Horrible.
quarter in and getting out.
You know why? I have children. So immediately upon entering said establishment,
You
my
have like
children are
9 broken rings inside of a weird plastic
Yeah.
container.
They're like, "Father, a claw machine. May I have 4 quarters?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"I don't
think about it
care."
this way: you're giving them a quarter. That's nothing, and they're somehow still making a profit.
Exactly.
Oh,
Like, even if the machine, there's a machine at like the only restaurant in the town I live in. It's a claw machine and it says winner every time, right? Even
oh,
if you win, like it gives you one like atomic cinnamon jawbreaker. Like that's what
God.
you get, the worst of the worst. You get Smarties, you get
Jesus.
Necco wafers or something. Like
Blech.
bleh. It's just
Oh God.
they're the worst. I wish they didn't exist because my children always want stale bubble gum. Like
Well, I don't know why. Yeah. I
the
don't know
flavor
why.
goes away in negative 5 seconds. There was no flavor to begin with. It takes away future flavor from you. Like this gum is so bad.
Oh
It's
God.
horrible. All right. Is that, you got one more? Or are you good?
I could go all day.
All right. Well, let's draw one and we'll do one more on the way out.
All right.
All right. So Chaz, there you go. He did the thing. Some sort of magician back there. I don't know.
I hate seeing like Scott Vermonter's name. I know it's not gonna be him.
Free range Canadian. Hey,
Here
we were talking
fucking
about
go.
Canadians.
Yeah,
You
he
guys
was
up
here.
there hiding wilderness systems and whatnot. So free range Canadian, if you are a human person and you are currently in chat, you just need to raise your hand and say that you are present. 2-minute drill starting now. Give me another overrated, underrated. Free range, waiting on you.
Graham crackers. Overrated or underrated?
Graham crackers.
You know what sucks about graham crackers? You're like eating them and you're like, oh, these are good and they gotta be healthy. They're like a graham cracker. These should be good for you. And then you check the sheet and you're like, these are horrible for you. You can't eat these. You're an adult. Like only small children can eat those and get away with it. They're so terrible.
Yeah, I would say unless I'm eating a s'more, they are absolutely
That's
worthless.
the only redeeming feature of the graham cracker is a s'more, is getting as a s'more.
If it is currently holding between itself a marshmallow and a chocolate,
We
or
don't need
preferably a Reese's cup, then I'm about it. And if it's not, get out of town.
You ever do Andy's mint chocolates in a
That's
like
a good call.
you get
s'more.
you get 4 of the big ones and make a
Mhm.
s'more? Oh my God, Jeff.
Absurd.
It's
Absurd.
insane.
All right. So am I to assume that free range Canadian is from Canada, which means that we're gonna have to send him an envelope? Or
Yeah, give me the address. That's fine. I'll handle
wait,
it.
what was shipping?
No, we can do Canada from the site.
Yeah, we can do it from the site. So we're all good. So free range Canadian, do the instruction thingy on the bottom banner there. Do that. And then when we have your info, you'll send us an email. You'll let us know which sticker decal you want, and I will send that to you. All right. Awesome, you guys. Well, that was a blast. Had another fun evening with y'all for another bracket series. What is this? 5, 6 we've done now? Let's keep these things rolling. So we'll do another one. We're getting to the point where I really want to do specific like tackle category and then like specific baits within that category.
Baits in green made by Gary Yamamoto. Everyone's gonna love that one.
All of Gary's baits. Anyways, so we'll go through that. But yeah, we might do something like that. We can
maybe we'll do all the best big bite baits. We'll do a bracket. We'll call it like a battle bracket or something like that. That's an idea I just had organically.
I just had one. I just had one.
Okay.
We got to do the best placebo effects in fishing. It's going to be like color. It's going to be like fluorocarbon liters.
It'll be like hooks.
Hooks. Placebo effect. You don't need those to catch fish.
Nah.
We should do like all the biggest unnecessaries in fishing. Like let's come out with it's like a loser bracket.
You know what we should do? On the left-hand side, we should have the most necessary thing, and on the right, we should have the most unnecessary things.
See
and then
who
when you
wins?
get to the when you get to the middle, what you have to choose is: would you rather be without the necessary thing, or would you wait? What would it be? Or would you
without the
how much would
necessary.
you rather get rid of the most unnecessary thing? So, like, if the unnecessary thing is annoying enough, it might getting rid of that would outweigh keeping the necessary thing.
Now we're overcomplicating brackets.
Mother-in-law versus hat. Who are you gonna pick?
And on that note, we're going to be sailing on out of here. Thank you guys so much. Congrats to Free Range Canadian. We'll get you a decal here soon, bud. And then we will be back again live next Wednesday. We have a members only live next Tuesday. So members, be there Tuesday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there, and we can bring you in on video and have some fun with that, I believe. Jaws,
And
we
we'll
can
have
do
some
that.
schmiz.
Yeah, we could do that. We'll do some schmivaways, special schmivaways for the members. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you next week. Okay, bye.